Short film and short film production is very different to feature-length movies. Some things only work in one or the other and not in both. As we would soon find out, here's my evaluation of my group short film. Question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms of conventions of real media products?
Our group's film follows the conventions of most thrillers until the end, which is considerably different. The obvious convention of thriller is a slow, gradual build-up of tension. The main way we build up tension in our film is by showing the girl following the man, and this shows the climax, that what the man's doing, it leads up to the final climax. So it's kind of based on one thing instead of loads of different things as most thrillers would be.
There are a few ways you can build up tension. One way is through camera work with Dutch tilts and camera movements that make the viewer feel uneasy. We don't really do this in our film as we wanted to focus on sound and performance to make our film unsettling and build tension. The performance of our main actor Daisy was very natural, and she just seemed like an average teenage girl who's watched a few too many detective movies.
This compared to the man's performance, which is really creepy, like in this clip, where the blood is found on the floor and he doesn't seem bothered about it. Another conventional thriller is plot twists, and that's the main central element of our film. Thrillers change the feel of the film to confuse the audience and make them doubt their feelings about what's going on in the film. We display the man as creepy at the beginning of the film, but then when it comes to the end, it's a complete different feeling, and we almost leave the audience feeling guilty about believing the stereotypes at the beginning of the film.
We wanted to break the stereotype that all men that live alone are odd. I thought we did this with the change of tone at the end.
As a group, we felt that we could do a good job of making a short thriller film. We wanted to change the genre slightly and have it more accessible to younger ages, around say 15 to 18. We felt having a younger cast would be easier to do this because it would be more relatable for the audience.
My poster keeps to the conventions of the thriller genre by sticking to the dark colours and even questions by having a missing poster as the focus. My poster looks intriguing as the audience will want to find out what's happening to the girl. My magazine review is also in a similar light, with black and red being the only colours and nothing giving anything away about the ending.
With my poster, I decided to go on something that wasn't set within the film. So obviously the aspect is what's behind the door, meaning the man's door, but I think that I went out and didn't want to actually get a screenshot of the film and go out and add more suspension and confusion to it by taking a picture of another door, which is completely irrelevant. I think this is quite normal in the film industry because there's loads of posters which are things which aren't within the films. As you can see, I've managed to incorporate everyone's title and stuff, and at the bottom of the page I've actually managed to incorporate every single person who was involved in the production of it. So I think it displays it to the audience very well on who was involved. But going back to the idea of how it looks in the design of the door, I've managed to Photoshop a handprint onto the door, which I think add again to more of the thriller aspect. So it's not only just a door, it's now got a hand on it, so people almost questioning what it was. It was also a bit of blank space on the page, so I decided it was quite a nice idea to put it there. Originally it was going to be red, but I found that it looked a bit too cartoony. With my magazine, I wanted to base it off the magazine Sight and Sound. I actually read this magazine quite often, and I actually really enjoy the magazine, so when I was told to pick a magazine, it was kind of a no-brainer, because I already know so much about Sight and Sound through another subject, film studies. So I kind of did the same conventions as them, and this is quite an early version of my magazine. It's got better since, but I've kind of did like exactly what they've done with certain aspects and the lines and stuff. Everything there is like basically all the conventions that they use. How effective is the combination of your main product and ancillary tasks? To reach our target audience, we had to find out our main target audience for the film it was. After watching thrillers and analysing posters, we realised that young men aged between 15 to 25 was our market in a slight stretch of the original 15 to 18 mixed gender range. But we thought we could incorporate both of this if we played the story right and picked the right cast. After establishing our target audience, we had to determine what sort of colours and fonts and styles we would use to make our poster appeal to them. We found, as you can see in this, most posters like 999 and this Shutter Island and stuff are all red and black. so we decided we wanted to keep our posters quite dark and show power with the colours.
As you can see in my poster, I used a red font with one singular picture in the background. I focused on the mystery element, as I thought that what appeals to the audience most was being part of the film and working out the truth. The mystery element we had in our film was that a girl had gone missing and many questions were left over the man's involvement. In my magazine article, I used a black background and a red font, but with a bolder font than my poster. I also felt that a magazine like Empire would appeal more to my target audience. This meant using a less formal type of writing with a few jokes.
Overall in our film, we wanted to reflect the darkness of the thriller genre, and how we did that by only letting the viewer see what the girl imagines in our main story of mystery. This allows us to keep the man as a dark, suspicious character until the climax, allowing us to make the ending as a surprise. What have we learned from our audience feedback so far? There are multiple ways in receiving feedback from our audience. One of the main ways was seeing how other people reacted to other short films. We conducted interviews from the public and worked out charts based on their results. We looked at different other thriller posters and how they reacted to our poster, different other thriller films and how they would react to our film.
Asked them things that intrigued them to go and watch the thriller film, and things that meant they would choose something else. The main things we came up with was people reacted well to build up the suspense and mystery, and coming up with their own ending ideas and seeing if they were right.
We wanted to focus on putting these features into our short film, and one of the main features that people didn't like were cliché narratives. We got around this by having a comedy twist at the end, which was almost impossible to predict. Another way to collate the feedback was showing our auxiliary products to our target audience and asking what they thought of them and how they thought the film would be, like, depending on how the auxiliary tasks were. The feedback I got on my poster was that although I was trying to keep genre with the colours and text blended behind the background, I tried to spread the text round to get a result that was clear against the other backgrounds. Other people liked it, and the one single image used in the poster was apparently good.
The colours and format were good, but the text lacked detail. I then made changes by making the article itself longer, while trying to still not give away the plot. The main revisions I had to make due to feedback were small colour changes and text changes. Thanks to my feedback, I'm confident my final film and auxiliary products will be effective in reaching my target audience.
The changes we made to our film were mainly based on the feedback from the screening. People didn't completely understand the narrative and thought there was too much continuity going on. We mainly fixed this by taking out a lot of the travel sequences throughout the film, as they weren't needed and they didn't really progress the narrative, so we removed quite a bit of that. We didn't have time to refilm, so we shuffled a few of the scenes around and managed to add more of a story by moving a few of the scenes to make it make more sense towards the audience. How do we use media technologies in the construction, research and planning of our evaluation stages?
We had a few things we needed to do. We needed a script, storyboard and shot list. But before this, we needed our idea. We used the internet and particularly YouTube to search for other short films of the same genre. Researching other films of the same genre allowed us to get an idea of audience expectation. With thriller films, this helped our film because we knew how to conform ourselves about audience expectation.
One film I really liked was the film Bitch. I used it as one of my main sources of resource when looking into other short films, because it had the plot twist that we were actually looking for. We also looked at other films like The Professional and stuff, which also had plot twists. I kept track of everything on my blog. I used WordPress because I found it was easy to navigate around, and you could easily display different pieces of information in various different ways, and you can embed a lot of other third media tools within it.
No, she wasn't my mum.
Sir, I just heard you call her mum.
She asked me to say that. She was just saying my
More importantly to me was the editing software Premiere, where I made my short research videos for my blog. I made short and simple research videos on topics like target audience and posted them on my blog. This helped my creative outcome because again I knew what the audience wanted to see in the film we were making. Looking software that I'm familiar with using, so I could create good quality short research videos. The next stage is the construction stage, so therefore putting the film together. This means booking equipment, setting filming dates and editing. The most obvious media technologies in this stage is the equipment. This included several different cameras, just not working properly, a tripod, rants and mic.
The camera and tripod were the main bits of equipment that we used during the whole project. when we went to film for our first filming day, we had been given a camera which had no zoom feature, so the lens on it was just a solid blank lens. This meant that we weren't able to film that day, but we managed to do a few test shots and practice with the actors what we wanted to do. So a few different stand-ins, and we managed to get it. This did put us behind schedule, but we managed to get around it. This taught us that we needed to check all of our equipment properly before heading off to location, because if we did that, we would have had time to go and change the equipment. Another problem we encountered is our tripod was shaky, so we had to be careful when doing pans to make sure it wouldn't affect the product.
Finally, in the editing stages, our most key media technology was the computer, but not only that, the software Final Cut Pro, which we used to edit our film together.
We use Final Cut Pro for our film, because even though we know how to use Premiere, it doesn't have all the features that Final Cut Pro has. Final Cut Pro is a program used by actual real producers and editors in the actual real film industry, so it's one of the best programs you can really use to create film. So we did come across a few issues like everyone does when filming. I know in this scene, left of the shot, there was a bag, so we've managed to use half a scene to mask over that, to actually hide the bag, so that's another good feature we used. And that's basically it, so thank you for listening.